Alright, it is time to talk about an experiment that I've been running. Can sleep actually be hacked? Well, my experience so far says yes. The idea behind it is as follows. Your sleep cycles generally follow a 5-stage progression that in total takes approximately 90 minutes to complete. This whole cycle is then repeated several times during the night. At present, most sleep research indicates that the really beneficial stages of sleep don't actually occur until you're good 45 minutes to an hour into the cycle. And the neat thing is, if you are at some level of sleep deprivation, your brain will prioritize the more important stages and skip the ones that don't appear to have as much benefit. So there's many ways to structure your sleep schedule to take advantage of this concept, ranging from, the basic siesta type schedule with one nap during the day, all the way up to the insane sounding Uberman schedule, which consists of taking a 20 to 30 minute nap every 4 hours. The basic formula is, for every 90 minutes or one sleep cycle that you remove, you need to add a 30-minute nap to your day. So I first heard of this idea a couple years back when I read a blog about a guy who tried the Uberman method. The link is in the description box down below if you want to read through that. While I found the reading to be absolutely fascinating, I really didn't think I'd ever be able to pull something like that off, since I've generally been about a 9-hour per night sleeper. But a couple things happened since then that made me decide to give sleep hacking a try. The first is that I started a low-carb diet, which made a clear positive difference in how I reacted to sleep deprivation. Read that as way less cranky. The second was a trip to San Diego about 4 weeks ago. With the jet lag, the days got 3 hours longer and thus 3 hours less sleep. And then, on the return trip, due to broken airplanes, I ended up pulling an all-nighter, which really went well, considering. But the deciding incident happened once I finally caught my connecting flight, which was 18 hours later than my originally planned connecting flight. As we were taxiing to take off, I remember looking out the window and then going for one of those long blinks that you do when you're really tired. And what amazed me was that I almost instantly started dreaming. I shook myself awake, and very little time had actually passed given the position of the plane. But what that indicated was that I almost instantly went into REM sleep, which A, normally doesn't start until at least an hour into the cycle, and B, is noted as an extremely important sleep stage. So I'm currently about 3 weeks into the experiment, and all is going well at the moment. As I mentioned, I call myself a 9-hour sleeper, and when you divide 90 minutes into that, you get 6 sleep cycles. So what I decided to do was to only sleep at night from 10 to 4, and then to take 1 or 2 30-minute naps during the day to make up for the loss. I noticed that more often than not, I remember dreams from the naps indicating that indeed the brain is prioritizing the more important sleep stages. The extra time awake is quite useful, obviously, and scheduling flexibility has increased multifold, not only due to the extra time awake, but also due to the fact that some of your sleep is not necessarily chained to your bed. I took advantage of this last week when I had to be in a meeting at work at 8:45 a.m., which is normally way earlier than when I get in because I'm a lazy bum. Normally, that would require driving through the teeth of rush hour. F that. I woke at 4, I was on the road around 6, no traffic problems to speak of, went back to my car around 8 a.m. to nap for 30 minutes, and then went to the meeting. Since my priority, though, is weightlifting, I'm going to be monitoring for signs of insufficient recovery from workouts. Everything's been fine so far, but the weights aren't particularly heavy right now. So the plan is to continue this schedule through Labor Day or so, at which point I'll then decide whether to ditch this or to drop another sleep cycle from my nightly schedule. I mean, wow, sleeping from like 10 to 2:30, for example, I wouldn't have thought that possible before this.
Happy birthday, Mr. President.
Look at that! So I'm neither the president, nor is it my birthday. It's like a couple months away. But it was birthday present time. If you remember, I was griping about the old bar slipping out of my hands in the previous video, decided to remedy that by getting the famous Texas Power Bar. And I don't know if you'll be able to see this, but this is like really, really smooth, even though it looks like there's knurling on it. This one, these are basically like mini spikes that just dig into your hands. And actually, you can see there's like stuff still stuck to it because it's like so sticky. But anyway, I was also kind of wondering why my shins weren't getting torn up like they used to in my competitive days. It's like, oh, no wonders. Didn't have a good bar with good knurling. Duh. So I expect to be one bleeding mofo after this. So yeah, back to the lifting. Actually, before we get back to the lifting, I want to point out a fun story here. Right after I filmed that clip of me doing my Marilyn Monroe impression and singing Happy Birthday, it was maybe 5 minutes later when I got a message from a friend saying that his son had actually been born that morning. And here's the little dude. The only advice I have for him is that it only gets worse from here. Sorry, man. Nah, I'm actually just kidding. Actually, when you think about it, like, what are you benching right now? He's probably benching 0. But it won't be long before he's benching 350, no problem, baby. Hey, so normally I wouldn't show a set this late, but it's the first set with the new bar. So I had to get that for posterity. That is awesomeness. Alright, here's my heavy set from the day. And what's really nice is that, I mean, the bar just does not move. And what's also good is that in the future, should I start having grip problems, like if the bar starts, falling out of the hand again, it's definitely a grip problem and something that would need to be addressed. Also like how the whole room shakes when I hit the ground. That's pretty cool. Oh, hey, I needed to rig up a dip belt / chin belt because holding dumbbells between my feet when doing chins was getting to be problematic. So I just used a piece of rope, tie one end of the belt, run it through the weights, tie the other end to the other side of the belt, and voila. Hey, it's music time. Alright, so last day of the week. I was actually recording the voiceover to the previous 3 days early this morning before my nap. And that section of time, because I take my first nap around 8 o'clock in the morning, that section from like 4 a.m. to 8, I'm a little bleary-eyed, but not too bad. So basically I look to do things that aren't too mentally intensive. Like I was working on editing up this video, getting it all ready to go. But then, I take my nap. And again, had a dream, woke up feeling amazing. And then it was workout time. I really think this is how new parents, since we had an infant in this video, this is how new parents survive the sleep deprivation that comes with taking care of an infant who's fresh home from the hospital. So, you guys are forced into it. I'm doing it by choice. And here's a little fun with video editing. We're going to finish up here with the set of overhead press, and then I'm going to show one more example of my new dip belt / chin belt. This time it's actually going to be the dips. And then that's going to be it for this week. So it was a good week. The first week back, weights felt really heavy. This week, not at all. Felt really good. So I'm pumped. And especially because, I'm doing the crazy sleep thing. And things are still feeling good. Look at those hands shake. Holy cow. It's really hard on these suspension trainers. I feel like I could handle probably 30 to 40 more pounds on the belt if it was like a firm base, one that you don't need to engage stabilizers on. So that is going to be it for this week. See you next week. Bye.